When my mother was dying, she was here physically. At the same time, it seemed like she was somewhere else. Years earlier, I had heard Wayne Dyer talk about this when he was witnessing his mom during her dying process. I didn't get it until now. In this video, I'm sharing what I witnessed during my mom's dying process, how Kabbalah explains the dying process. One night I was in my mom's room and she was just opening her eyes, closing them, and opening them and closing them. And she wasn't looking at me. I thought she must be witnessing something. Maybe she's seeing people from the other side. Maybe she's going through that life review process. We've heard about that in near-death experiences. I knew my mom was passing. She was nearing death. To see this, I just sensed, I just knew my mom had to be in two realities, that she was here physically with me and at the same time is witnessing perhaps my dad or other loved ones, perhaps her sister from the other side. It was unbelievable. When Wayne Dyer was sharing his experience watching his own mother die, he talked about noticing two realities. He called them the finite and the infinite. The finite he calls the body, and the soul consciousness, which he calls infinite. I like to call them the physical and the non-physical, and Kabbalistically the 1% and the 99%. The 1% reality is this physical reality, physically seeing my mom laying there in her bed. There's the non-physical reality, what happens to the soul. I have heard how important it is to create a safe space of calmness and peace before someone you love is transitioning to the other side. I told my mom I forgive her for anything she's done to hurt me and vice versa. I also asked other family members. The concept is that when someone does pass, that they're going to feel the pain of every person they've caused pain to and vice versa. So our goal when we're with a loved one, when they're transitioning, is to create this peace. And one way to do this is to let the person know that when they are transitioning, that you are forgiving them. Caring is the very last thing to go. It's not good for the soul to hear someone crying around them. The soul does not want to leave the body. So when we are crying around someone that is dying, not only should you not be in the room, you should be outside, because the soul already doesn't want to leave the body. Crying around the body, it makes it harder for the soul to want to transition. It's a blessing to be with someone you love, a parent, especially when they're transitioning. It seems that there is an intuitive knowing in the body when someone is dying that they start to lose their appetite. They are trying to disconnect from the physical reality. As a loved one sitting by, watching my mom go from eating hamburgers to pureed soups to not wanting to drink or eat, it was really hard to watch. Once I understood what was happening, it helped me to prepare. The other thing during the process is you want to keep the space very calm, so I played calming music. There's some music I specifically played when I knew it was really getting towards the end. I'll include those in the link in the description down below. Kabbalah explains the dying process and these two realities while the person is preparing to go to the other side, where their soul is preparing to go to the other side. The dying process is actually started while they are still physically here. That's what I witnessed. Parts of their soul is starting to leave. There was a slow progression of my mom being present and then seeming like she wasn't here. And that would graduate to mom being more like she wasn't here and then a little bit present. And that, of course, continued. It really changes everything in how someone views death, because it changes how we could sit with someone during their dying process and be present with them. Last thing to go is hearing. The person that you're with could feel your love. They could hear you. And the thing I wanted to do was have the most loving transition for my mom. And that's what we gave her. I'll explain that the soul doesn't leave at one time. As the person is transitioning, parts of those soul are starting to leave at different times. Knowing this really can change the perspective of how we view the dying process, especially when we're sitting next to someone that we love. If this person really can hear what we say and feel the love that is around us, if our goal is to have this person transition with love and calmness and peace around them, we actually can provide this for them. And that's what I was doing after sharing stories, telling my mom how much I loved her. And then when I learned hearing is the very last thing that goes, I was not only sharing those stories with her, I was putting family members on the phone, offer my mom forgiveness if she did anything to hurt you. Some would say yes, some would say no. Do you just want to say I love you? You don't know what they're holding on to. I felt like she was holding on for something. Mom couldn't speak. There's this concept out there that when someone is hanging on, often heard that they're waiting to see that one person and then they'll go. There's this one family member who said to my mom that he'll come down the very next day. The very next day came, he never showed up. And then it happened for the next day and the next day, 3 full days. So now we're into day 8. But mom's breathing got really heavy, told us going to be happening very, very shortly. I went into the front balcony 5 to 10 minutes before. I started to think about this family member who had told my mom 3 days earlier that he was going to come see her. The call never came. He never came to see her. I went out to the front terrace. I was crying so hysterically. I wasn't crying because my mom was dying, because I was crying for her, like screaming out into the air. How can people be so mean? All she wants to do is see so and so. I went in at that moment, just said to my mom, you have been an amazing mother. You cannot control what people do. Don't take anything in this pain body that you have. Let your soul go. Go with the light. Don't turn back and dance into daddy's arms. Moments later, my mom was gone. It was really bizarre because at that moment, it's like I experienced shock. I'd cried so much already. One moment, she was breathing. She looked peaceful the whole time. The next, she wasn't. I'm sharing this not to define death, but rather to change our experience with it. If someone you know or love is going through the dying process, you could be very present with it. If you have someone in your life right now that you are witnessing or going through this process, feel free to send me a message, or if there's anything you want to share, if you have any questions, please send me a message down below. Hopefully our loved ones can transition peacefully, knowing that we are there to assist.